Wait, Aaron, you're not a Warwick student.
I am.
Oh, so we must have met before.
Potentially.
Did you go to Smack March? I probably met you there once.
Yeah. I don't know if we ever met as in like, hi, I'm Aaron. Hi, I'm Rich.
Yeah. I probably just gave you a hug once.
Yeah, maybe. Are we all good to start?
Yeah. Recording on my side.
Okay, good, Rich?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Third Wheel. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I'm your other host, Hamish.
And anyone new listening, go check us out on all socials. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All the links will be in the description. Go give us a review on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, etc. We release some clips on YouTube and all that. So, and also subscribe to our channel on YouTube. So, all that good stuff. Anything, Hamish?
No, you got it all there. I thought you were going to miss something, but you got it.
No. I can see. I was looking at you like I've got everything. For episode 70, we are joined by Rish.
Hey.
How you doing, Rish? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Rish. Graduated from Warwick last year in the year we don't speak about. And yeah, just happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been a while since me and Hamish last recorded a podcast. So like,
yeah, it was a bit of a shambles just before.
yeah, we're a bit on the ropes. So
I think it's been like a month, maybe.
Yeah, the listeners won't really know that because we release an episode like each week, but we recorded in like bulk beforehand. So, but we took like a long break over like Christmas and New Year. Partly down to choice, partly not. But
you guys need to take a break. I heard you've been doing the grind every week.
Yeah, this will be 70 episodes in a row.
Jeez.
Weeks in a row.
Technically 71 if you count the promo episode 0.
Yeah. True.
Incredible.
True. We haven't actually met before, or we were just speaking beforehand previously. Like we haven't like formally met in a way, at least. But you two kind of know each other.
I met Rishav at Hindu Sock. I'm pretty sure that's where we first met. I don't think I would have interacted with him otherwise. Yeah, so I think Rishav, was it your second year where you became on the exec and you were doing the NEAMS role essentially? I forgot what it was called. Learning coordinator?
Yeah, learning coordinating, yeah. Second year, yeah.
NEAMS role, is that now like a...
I know, I couldn't think of the name. Like, I was like, what is it called? Is it called Arty coordinator? What is it called?
Rish, do you watch football?
No.
Oh, okay. There's like the CDM role in football is quite particular like play style is kind of known as like the Makaleli role, just because he was like so good at it they started calling it after a player. So I wasn't sure if it was like that. You know?
Always been Neum Shadow.
You also call out by Dill as well to come on the episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Dill, good friend of mine.
Yeah, cool, awesome. I don't really know where to start.
I have a good idea where to start. Basically, Rishav actually said to us I'm going to accidentally keep saying Rishav because that's all I know here.
No, go for it.
But like he told us to watch the movie Soul if you haven't. So obviously it happened that I was the only one in this group that hadn't watched the movie Soul. It's on Disney. And I actually watched it prior to this. So I tried to binge through it.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, you had a discussion on it. So now I think I can contribute to that discussion. I won't just be sitting here like always waiting to give my opinion.
That's mad. I'm excited that you watched it. It's one of my favorite films.
Disclaimer, I did watch it like kind of in the background when I was watching the basketball. So like I didn't watch it as deeply as I know some people have. But I know like what went on and all that kind of stuff.
We'll try not to give spoilers, by the way, but if there's any spoilers, we'll just give you there'll be timestamps and you can just skip past it in the description. So yeah, just use the timestamp and skip over it. So
I guess for those who like aren't that bothered, Rish, could you give like a brief kind of what Soul? What is the film about?
I guess it's going to be hard to do this without spoilers, but it's essentially...
Forget about spoilers, just give spoilers.
Yeah, it's
like, if you don't want spoilers, just skip.
It's easier. A musician who thinks his whole life in his purpose that is going to make him happy is to become a professional musician. And then he has an accident, dies before he makes it, goes to this soul world, and he discovers this place of souls where they try and get a badge that allows them to go to Earth. And in order to get your badge, you need to sort of find... Do you remember what it was called, Hamish? It's like has a name. You have to find a spark. And I guess the message is, at least for me anyway, ultimately, you don't need to pursue purpose in order to live like a fulfilled life. Sometimes the spark is just as simple as appreciating the small things.
I thought first of all, like just from a production point of view, like the animation was like really next level, like the quality of it and the graphics. Who is it by? Pixar?
Yeah.
Is it a kids film?
I think it must be. It didn't swear or anything, so
Yeah,
Maybe
I
he's trying to
know.
show kids like live in it, live properly, whatever that means.
a lot of these movies that at least I grew up with were like, follow your dreams, follow your purpose, and everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Where this, I felt like it was a very different message,
Yeah.
because it really speaks to those people who like are spending their whole lives chasing this one thing that they think is going to make them happy. But it's like, actually, if you just take a step back, maybe you will get that same enjoyment just by, there's a scene in the movie where she looks at a sycamore falling down. Do you guys remember that? Very vivid scene. It's like she's looking up at a tree and the sycamore's falling down, and you can see it in her eyes, the way she's watching that scene.
It's basically it's type of leaf, right? Like that's what that thing was.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a
Yeah,
leaf.
yeah, sycamore.
Okay.
Yeah, sycamore.
Oh, it's a leaf, yeah, whatever it was. Yeah, it's just an example of those things that we kind of take for granted, I feel.
I was watching like some of the they were finding LowKiy shots at some job occupations as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's fair enough. Like to a kid, I guess you're trying to say like stop. Yeah, I know you're all about, as you said, like going to the end goal, and then what do you do once you're at that point? Because all you did is try to get to that point. Now, do you
Yeah.
know how to enjoy it? Did you enjoy the things along the way? Which is fair enough to, I guess, a good bulk of the population. It will make sense, but I don't know. Maybe some of it, I don't know if I fully agreed with it.
What did you disagree with?
Well, basically, like obviously, it was like catered to a specific set of people. I'd say like it wasn't catered to everyone. Like you could tell everyone to go enjoy their life, sure, but like in certain cases, it's going to go back to my long argument about the financial thing. Like if people don't come from the financial background, then like it may not be feasible to follow that exact thing that they said. But like I get what they're trying to say, but it just doesn't apply to everyone. And but they did say in a point like somewhere along the lines of everyone has a different way they go about it. No one has to follow that specific structure or so. And I was also watching actually a podcast with Jamie called the Half Course Podcast. I'll link in the description. It was like everyone's life is different, everyone's perception is different. So your life at this point is based on the things that have happened to you. So like you can't be doing it based on someone else's like perception of it anyways. But yeah. So that's like one of the things I don't necessarily agree with, but like I did think it was a decent movie, you know. Like I don't think it was a bad movie. I don't think it was an amazing movie, as per se, but I did see the message. If it was shown to younger audiences from the beginning, maybe maybe I don't know. I don't know if it will make that much of a difference, you know. But like I understand the message it was trying to convey. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I have this app where I like log all my like films that I've watched, and like you can like review them and rate them and all that, and like add friends. And one of our friends who's been on like the podcast, Sid, he was the one who had this beforehand, which I found out about it, and he gave a review and said, "An absolute delight, and oh my god, it looks absolutely incredible. But more importantly, I really did not expect this movie to hit the way it did. Soul somehow manages to, at least in my case, momentarily make me question what life's really about, and I love that." So I read his review and I was like, oh shit, maybe I should have watched it a bit properly.
Yeah, I have to say, I definitely agree with that sort of review thing. It was the first time, especially because it's such a mainstream film. I was expecting a very much like classic cliche dream chasing film, and to have something that says actually it's okay if you don't, reach those dreams you once had, because life doesn't have to be about those things. It's quite profound, especially for millennials. I think like the whole like Maslow pyramid thing. Like I think a lot of us struggle with that top bit, or at least a lot of us have the privilege to be able to struggle at that top bit, but it's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah. I think sometimes that's good to be like so focused on one goal and like trying your best to like I imagine that's how like a lot of athletes are. Like they're so driven, like especially the top ones, to like reach that standard. They almost have to be to have got where they are. And I feel like for those type of personalities or those people that where this film is like, okay, you don't need to focus on that as much as you do kind of thing. I don't think that will affect them, to be honest. Like if they are that kind of person, then they'll probably just appreciate it for like for what it is kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think one of the other messages you could probably say is like, don't underappreciate the things that are happening that you ignore, I guess, on your normal day to day, or maybe like a bit of gratitude as well. Like I don't know the best. I think it's like a bit more under appreciation because we're looking for this higher sense of achievement, higher sense of fun, making it, whatever.
Has there been like anything, Rish, that you've when you watch this, you were like a specific thing where you've been like, oh, I've taken this for granted kind of thing?
I guess I've always I think it spoke to me because I've always struggled with purpose and like thinking that there was this one purpose in life that I had to find. It's been on my mind for many years because I haven't found it. So to have a movie that kind of says to you, you don't need to find one because you can take enjoyment from the small things. To have it reaffirmed was a very profound thing. So that, I guess that was like just to that scene has been playing in my mind since I watched it, of that leaf falling down. Like every time I go out now, to just be conscious of things as small as color, like the fact that you can go outside and see how many shades of green, how many shades of red, how many shades of blue when you look outside, and you just, it's this weird thing that we just take it for granted all the time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just looked out my window and I was like, oh god, it looks fucking dull today. No, I agree. I though I don't think I didn't think there was like one purpose for me kind of thing. So it wasn't like I like massively like related to the guy in the film.
So if I asked you like, okay, what's your purpose in life?
Just do my best. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like I don't think like I don't know.
So if you died today, you'd be like you accomplished wherever you needed to or whatever. Like
I'd be disappointed. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd be a bit disappointed if I died, but I wouldn't be like. I'd be like, oh, there's so much more I could have done. Do you know what I mean? But that's just because of my age as well. Like I'm 24. That's a young death if I died. But in my 24 years, I don't think like I wouldn't really like have regret of my 24 years. It'd be more like regret of what I could do in like the future. Do you know, like get married, have kids, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I envy your mindset. I think it's like very good.
I think I'd just go with it. Like I'm just kind of, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. There might be like goals as in like this podcast. Oh, we want to make it like this big or this like, but purpose in life. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my purpose in life is just to have like a good life. Do you know what I mean? Bring up the next Conways in the world.
Pass on the genes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rishav, what would you say yours is, by the way?
That's the problem. I think I'm not gonna lie. That having watched that movie, I think I did change my mindset about purpose. I don't think I need one. I think I'm leaning more towards sort of Aaron's like mindset. I think it's a bit of luck. Like there's this book, a really good book by Ken Robinson called The Element, where he talks about all these like famous, talented people who kind of got there. He calls it the element, the thing that became their thing. Like for a dancer, it's dancing, and he talks about how they got it, and a lot of it's just luck. Just these random coincidences in life that led them to this one thing. And some people just aren't that lucky.
Yeah. What about you, Hamish? Do you think you have a purpose or?
I have like many goals. I assume like they probably lead to a purpose.
Yeah. I have goals, but I don't. I don't know if that's equals a purpose. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to sound deep, but like if I don't have a purpose, like I would have just killed myself. There's no point in living at that point, right? Because if you don't have a purpose to live, like what's the point? For example, like I need to make it. I need to make sure the family is good. I need to make sure future generations are good of my family. Who else is there? Like, obviously, I want the podcast stuff. Like,
is that
to
a
do
purpose though? I'm struggling to think like what is a purpose? Like, what would you say like is a purpose?
It's hard to differentiate between like purpose, goals, responsibility.
I thought like they're interlinked anyways. So
yeah,
like if I didn't think I was gonna make it or anything, like then I'm better off being dead because then the life insurance can be paid out to the family.
I'm thinking like a purpose is like, okay, say Hamish, we're like developers, yeah. We make a program or an application or something. Like we're creating it to like solve a problem. So like almost when we are born, this is how I'm thinking of purpose. Like it could be different or wrong, whatever. I'm thinking like when we are born to do this, like specific thing, this purpose.
So, well, how do you then? Are you gonna like categorize it in tiers, like to say which one makes more impact than the other, or something? Like I don't know how you.
I don't know. Maybe one baby has a more important purpose than another baby. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so you're saying the value of that baby is more than the other person.
But I guess that's kind of that's why I'm saying I don't really think there is I don't think we're born with like a purpose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to think of it objectively to the point where you could like compare purposes. Like I think purpose is like man-made. You make your own purpose. It's not like given, like bestowed you by some like Bhagwan. And I think it's very easy to then, human mind is like so like spongeable. Like you could just, read a religious book and then that can completely consume you in purpose, which can be an entirely good thing.
Mm.
Like religion for many people has become their purpose in that way.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point at that point, right? Like, if you don't have like something to accomplish or something to do, like obviously you shouldn't. You should probably speak to someone. I'm just saying like how I view it. Like for myself, like if I didn't have that purpose, there's no point me being alive.
But can't you just like be enjoying your time?
Like, what's the point? You're more of a burden to like you're more of a burden. Like
How?
you're more of a burden to others then at that point. Then what do you mean by enjoying my time?
Like you just, you kind of like having friends. You kind of like talking to other people. You don't want to die necessarily.
Yeah, but then to do that, wouldn't I have to do things I don't like anyway? Like say we're working, getting paid, like, and you're stuck in that same loop. So like the movie Solo shows it, like you're stuck in that same loop, and you're not really gonna make it anywhere or accomplish anything. Like I don't really think that's the point. Like I feel like you should try to accomplish stuff in your own right, and then if you do, then fair enough. If you don't, then also fair enough. But like for me, like I don't know. I always think that I have to get to this, that. So like I don't know. It's very hard to say. Like I don't know. Like it's because I overthink as well a lot. So like I could understand when Risha says like he overthinks a lot of things like on a daily basis or even the smallest things. So like that movie obviously had me thinking, but then I just kind of like try not to think about it too much. I'm like, you know what? I'll get to that point where I can just chill and enjoy, hopefully. And then we were discussing another topic, Aaron. I don't know if we should bring that up about like retirement in this one because we have quite a lot of topics to go through. But
I mean, you've already brought it up, so you might as well.
Okay, yeah, fair. Basically, we were discussing pensions. Yeah.
So we were basically talking about how the general gist is like if you're old, you were kind of on it. Well, you give your opinion. If when you're older, you wouldn't mind dying. Basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So like the retirement age, yeah, like the normal, I guess, retirement age is like 70 something, yeah, in the UK. Now, ideally, I would have wanted to retire a lot earlier, yeah, but I'm not going to increase my pension, for example, yeah, because like I don't think for me, that's not a strategic thing to do right now because realistically, by the time I retire, that means my bodily functions are like stopping and it's starting to become miserable for me to live. I'm like literally suffering. So I'd rather just go out, just let me die at that point or whatever.
At retirement age?
73, like at 73, like your body's gonna be old. You don't know what condition your body's gonna be like.
Yeah, but it might not be. Yeah.
Yeah. But like ideally, I was hoping I can retire at 55 and become rich by then. I've sorted the family out, sorted the future generations out. Hopefully, I've recorded the message and anything and tried to teach my kids whatever I could at the time, and I'll be good, in that sense. I'll be like, I'm fine to go out if my body is literally failing me because I don't want to become also a burden on them that they have to take care of me or something. And I just want to go out like I'd rather be fine. Like, I've done this, that, and that. It's my time. I'm happy to go. This is like the confronting death topic that we had written down, actually. Like, the guy in the movie wasn't ready to confront death. Whereas I'm like, at that age, I'll be fine to go out. Like, it's all cool. And for me, I don't want to have to live to like 100.
He was quite young, though, in the film.
Yeah. He was quite young. But I don't want to be like, for example, at age 100 in a wheelchair or something. I feel like that's just not worth it to me. I'd rather sort everyone else around me out that I can in my family, be done with it, and then cool. If I can live, like some easy years after 55 or something like that, then fair enough. If not, then then I guess it's a bit peak, innit? Like I don't know what else to say. I was just like, I wouldn't want to have to live any longer. Then my body's already like telling me, nah, like I can't hack this any longer, and things like that. But like I'll be happy to go out. Like I'm not out here to try and live to age 100 or something, like I realistically know that's not going to be possible. So
I'm just like, if it get to a point where I'm really old and can't do much, like, I'll just chill. I'm not going to like be like, oh, right, I'm ready to go. Or I might be like, yeah, I'm ready to go, but I'm not going to like, I don't know. The fact that my family and friends and kids or whatever, they obviously don't want me to die. And they'd be upset if I died. So I'm just not going to like try and die.
They'd also have to be able to accept it at some point. Like they can't have like,
they're going to have to accept it at some point, but if I can postpone that.
It's speculative though. Like you heard about the cryogenic freezing.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in it. Just let me go when my time's done.
Why not? If you had a chance to be brought back to life in a completely new world, you wouldn't take it.
But then
even for like a minute, like just see.
Oh, even for a minute, but like the thing is, like, okay, if it was for a minute, then fair enough. Sure, like go on, see a minute of like 20 what, like 2,200 or something. But it'd be so weird, like also not having, even in that moment, not having like the people, your family, etc., around you at the time. So
You could all get frozen.
Yeah.
you know, nah,
Could be like a family bundle, you know?
Yeah, I'm
Nah.
sure they do those deals.
Yeah. I've seen it in Argos.
Aaron, you try it. Let me know how it goes.
Oh, it won't be because you'll be dead, mate. Yeah, well, what do you think, Rish? What Hamish just said.
I can see. Yeah, I get what you're saying about, like, I guess you're referring to not wanting to be a burden in some sense and living life as like a decrepit old person with loads of
Yeah.
issues. But also, then I'd also bring in that movie again and say, like, I think there's always going to be these small things in life that give a lot of value. So no matter how difficult it gets, I feel like there's always a value in just being alive. Even if it's watching, a leaf fall down from a tree, that can be a very profound experience. It's about mindset, I feel.
Yeah, even when I'm old, I'm on a wheelchair, man. My voice will give knowledge. Do you know what I mean? They need that knowledge.
Fair enough, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, ideally I would have accomplished what I needed to within the years coming up. So, like, I'm like fine, like, if at that old age when the body starts fading, I'm just like, fair enough. It's time for me to go. And hopefully they would have learned, like, via the pets and everything, like, death comes eventually. So, like, you do have to, like, accept it and deal with it to a certain extent, anyways. And you shouldn't be afraid. Like, if anything, you're probably putting me in a better place than just forcing me to live something where I'm not comfortable with it, for example. But that was my logic behind it, because I didn't think it's worth basically going all the way to age 73, retiring then, and trying to live off whatever pension and riches then, because there's not much, I'd say, like, in cases where I'd say, like, I just don't think that there's not much you can really do physically at that point. If you want to enjoy the life, you have to also do it before, like, a certain age.
Look
Yeah,
at David Attenborough. Man's 94 years old and he's doing bits out here.
This is so deep for a Saturday morning. It's not that deep, just to clarify to people. It's just like my view in it. Even before I get fucking concerned messages.
If I'm in pain and I want to die and my family also kind of don't really mind me popping off, then you know what, I'll go. But if my family want me around, however much like pain I'm in or whatever, I'll stick around. That's my mindset at the moment.
At the moment, that always changes though, as you
Yeah,
grow
it
older,
could change. It could change. But all I can give is what I think now.
Yeah. So obviously even my thing can be changed. Like, even my current view on it could be changed. I'm saying that as well. But yeah, like, that's just what it is, in my opinion, right now.
But I feel like you're looking at it like really negatively.
How is that negatively?
As in, like, you're not thinking like, oh, but at 90 I could be providing some benefit.
Look, yeah, if I'm in a good physical, as I said, like, if I'm in a good physical condition to do so, then fair enough. But if I'm not, then like.
But why not assume you will be?
Like, I'm just considering the backup plan. Like, I'm considering contingency.
Okay, fair enough.
It's not saying it will happen. I'm just saying, like, I'm considering, like, if it was the case, then fair enough. But yeah, like, obviously if at 90 for some reason I'm like super able physically and I can still live life however I wanted to, then fair enough. But if not, then let me go. That's just my stance on it. So, like, I'm happy to confront death when my said time comes. But obviously if I was on, for example, the difference is, like, if I was on life support at like age 70, realistically it's more logically, it makes more sense to just let me go than if I'm on the life support at age 24, for example. It doesn't make sense because there's a good chance I can recover and, still do better and, make it. There'll obviously be some consequences to suffer, but, like, realistically, being on life support, for example, age 24 versus age 74 or something, I feel like, one, for me, like, yeah, you could just let me go. Like, if I'm fine with it, then don't try to extra force me into it. I would have already left you all the bits and pieces that I needed to if I couldn't tell you because you're too young or something to my kids. Yeah, I'd have left it in, like, recorded messages or so, whatever, video message, hologram messages, whatever there is at the time, all that stuff, hopefully. But yeah, that should we just move on from this? Or should we dead this topic literally? Because
was there anything you wanted to touch on in regards to that, Rish?
No, I think I agree. I say my having similar discussions in our family, because we pushed my dad to retire this year, and it was like similar line of thought, like, you don't know how many good years you have left, and if you're lucky enough to be able to retire a bit earlier, why not? Even if it means you might not be as comfortable, whatever. I think, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Hamish. Like, those good years are actually really valuable, and do you want to spend it like slaving away? Unless, you love what you do, which is the holy grail.
Yeah, like there's cases where obviously you could just be doing a job for the rest of your life till 73 and be no different. Yeah, like I remember like someone celebrated like a 40-year anniversary at work a few years ago. And I was like, what the fuck, from 40 years, like just doing the same thing, like not even like changing it. I'm just like, that can't be me. Like hopefully we just secured the bag. We don't have to really think, oh, this thing's too expensive for me to do. Like I can go on holiday here for 6 months if I wanted to chill out, come back, like at age 55 or whatever, like to have that, we can have a better retirement if we just put in the shift now. But obviously I understand in some cases people want to just enjoy the now at age 24, which is fair enough.
I think you can do both.
It depends, and it's circumstantial.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've changed my purpose. My purpose is just to be the best person I can be. And that's it. I don't think it's any more deeper than that for me, anyway. And I think that will just lead in turn to
good things.
Yeah, good things, and not having any regrets. If you're going to be the best person you can be, then fulfill your potential.
I was going to say, alternatively to being, I guess, alone in isolation when retirement being taken care of, you did spend some time alone in Norway.
What a transition.
That was a dead transition, but I'm going to take it. I had no pun in there or anything. I just needed to move the topic.
I think I actually want to make a statement where I think it was Dill's episode, and you mentioned you like went to Norway, and I like kind of deaded it. Yeah, I want to apologize for that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, my manager, is from Norway. And, absolute hero. And also I watched Vikings recently, and I kind of want to go Norway as well. So
yeah, trust.
Yeah, cool. I forgot what you said when you went Norway. Was it a year abroad or something?
You went for a year abroad, right?
Yeah, I went for like classic year abroad. And yeah, I kind of did it in like a weird way because I went with the intention of like trying to be like properly by myself for a year. So instead of like going out, meeting people, like I just got this flat and I stayed away from the village where all the students stay. And I just lived by myself for like a year and just kind of isolated before it was a thing. Yeah, I just wanted to, I'm very conscious about things like validation and ego and all those things. So I thought it'd be a good test.
When you went to like, did you think what did you find being alone in isolation there and trying not to, I guess, be conscious for validation? I don't know if you're saying you look for external validation. I think internally and you're trying to stop it or something. Like, I don't know where the topic's going.
Yeah, so I guess I became aware quite early on that I was very externally validated. So like specifically socially validation, like I feel people always gave me a sense of value, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I was very dependent on it and I didn't think I had much of a value like innately. So I decided to, okay, what happens if I remove all that social validation for a period of time? What would happen? Maybe I'll just learn to get my own value. And so once it did go away, it was actually really, really difficult. And I was very naive because it's firstly not healthy to isolate from people that you love for like that long and just not speak to anyone. But also there was this constant reaffirmation when I was with people of them giving me value. And when that was gone, I was like, well, who am I? What's my value anymore? I kind of felt like nothing. So yeah, it's quite a difficult period to go through.
So did you actually like cut off? Or is it still like, you still had contact as in?
Yeah, so initially I was like, because, people were like, oh, we'll come visit. And I was like, no, just don't visit. And even family, I was like, okay, just don't visit me. I just want to, try this by myself. So for a couple months, I just kind of was completely by myself. And then I decided to reach out to friends and family after a while because it was just getting like, I think mentally very taxing. So I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. But yeah, I will remember those first few months, like until I die, like what it was like to be like just completely cut off. It's very interesting.
Was there a specific point before that where you were kind of like, okay, I need to do this?
Yeah. But it wasn't a turning point. It was a gradual,
right?
Yeah,
it was a gradual realization. And then it was like, okay, I went to see someone talk about year abroads and I was like, oh, this is perfect opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say did you go to any socials with any of your like course mates that were there at the time, the people you met, or like you're saying you just live by yourself, didn't speak to anyone there?
Yeah, so there was no opportunity to like meet people except in class, but I wasn't that bothered about class most of the time anyway. And then there was one instance where I eventually went to a Norwegian house party, but they all spoke Norwegian and didn't even like couldn't speak English. So that was very pointless. So
Wait, so you didn't learn any Norwegian before you went out there?
no, it didn't learn any. And to be fair, that you get by with English. Like the shops can speak English. Like tourism is all calm. It's just I think they don't really bother in social situations unless they have to.
Did you like Norway?
Yeah, it's my favorite country by far. Like a part of the reason I wanted to go was for it's quite isolated, but also the scenery is incredible, which you've probably seen in Vikings, which is one of my favorite TV shows as well. Yeah, I live by like the sea. You could literally smell the sea every time I walked out of my apartment, and I was surrounded by mountains every day. So yeah, really lucky to have that like Norwegian experience, I guess.
Do you know, I was thinking watching Vikings, like slight tangent. So that back then they believed in like Thor and like LowKiy and Freya and these like people you consider like mythical, is that right? Or like gods, yeah. And they believed that when lightning struck, it was Thor like striking his hammer. And I was watching, I was just like, oh, that's just really cool. I might just like start believing that. Like that's just a really cool thing to like to think.
The entire Norse mythology is really cool. It's really it's one of my favorite pieces of literature.
You know, when there's thunder, so basically as a kid I was told by my parents that that's basically the gods playing like football or playing ball up in the clouds or up in the skies. And I believed that for a bit, and I was like, okay, I don't know what to think.
But yeah, Norway, I would like to go visit Norway. What year did you go?
I went 2018 to 19. I stayed in a town called Bergen, which is like the second biggest city, couple 100,000 population, very, very small.
Was that the first time as well staying away from like family?
I've done it before when I was a little kid. I went to India for a few weeks with this charity group. But yeah, this was definitely the first time I was like by myself.
Any specific things that you like took away from it?
I guess the challenge was, okay, when you're stripped away from all the social affirmations, like where do you get your value from? And I think eventually I arrived to the conclusion, you have to define your value sometimes just in the sense of being alive. Like, what is that thing that will always be with you as long as you're alive? It's the fact that you're alive. Everything else is external and can be stripped away from you, like the people, the exams, all those things. The only thing, there's two things. The first thing was religion, but I just couldn't believe in the religion enough to believe that God would give me that value. So for me, it was just, okay, my value is in being alive. My value is in my sight, my senses, all these things that give me a rich life. So I guess that was my personal takeaway. Did that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
A bit, yeah. Like it depends. Basically, earlier when I said like, I feel like the future generations need to see it more because they grow up on like Instagram, and so I feel like it may help because obviously when you grow up with all this social media, like you look for like the likes and everything, and you want to compare yourself to something when it may not necessarily match your lifestyle or the life that you've been given, the circumstances, everything, which makes it quite tough to see. So then you may, for example, expect like a certain friend to like certain things you say or whatever, but it may not be the case. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's like you don't need that validation. Like you don't need others to be there so that you can have a good time. You can go there just with that person on your ones or just with two other people. It doesn't matter that if like a whole squad of 8 isn't there, for example. Do you know what I mean? So like it's when you learn to accept that you don't need to be a follower. You can just be yourself. And that doesn't mean that you're disrespecting anyone else. It just means that you're comfortable in your own, like, I guess you're comfortable in your own skin. This is the way I see it. So like with my friends from home, Walid and Krishan, we have this rule, don't ever run that like shit with us about like, oh, who's coming, etc. Like if you want to meet up, you don't have to ask like who's coming. You don't have to ask how many people are turning up. Like even when we like, and when Among Us was popping up, like don't use that bullshit or whenever we're in a squad, Like either you're down or you're not. You don't put this dependency bullshit. Like, and so I think from then, like it's always been like I'm comfortable in my own skin anyway. So like I'm gonna turn up if I want to. Like I don't require, for example, 10 people to be there, but like I don't mind going on my ones in certain cases.
But what if there was like someone in the group that you didn't like? So like you down to go and you was like, yeah. And the only other person down to go was someone you didn't like.
I'll go there because I'll be making that person's life miserable. I know they're up, I'm sending shots, man. I'm not saying
Bro,
that like
dickhead movements.
bro. You're telling me that I'm gonna be uncomfortable in my own skin because the one person
I
don't
didn't
like
say
contact.
you're gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah, but like the reason why I wouldn't go.
Maybe you'd rather just not go.
Why? But then that's because that person, I allowed that person to make me uncomfortable or anything. When in reality, I could go there and I know they're gonna be uncomfortable, so I could just
They might not know. They might love you. Do you know what I mean? You just don't like them.
it could be a bit sadistic, but like I'd rather be there and just be pressing that button, yeah, just by knowing that it makes them uncomfortable that I'm here, like. Like it's revenge is sweet. Like Tupac said. What was he said? One second, I'm trying to figure out what he said. Let me find the Tupac lyric here.
Yeah, I don't know. People sometimes just need to check the vibes. Do you know? You need to check the vibes in the group chat before you go anywhere.
The lyric is, "I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy." So yeah, I'm not gonna like recite the rest of it, but I'll be there. Like I'm fine in my own shoes. But when groups or people in groups here do this thing, yeah, like this is calling out multiple groups. I know people gonna be triggered when they fucking hear this here. Like if you say that, oh, who else is there? And I've said this to specific people as well. Like if you say who else is there and you don't join, for example, or you don't want to go out until like you got confirmation from XYZ, yeah, man, you need to sort yourself out because like in what Rishav said, like you're looking for this external validation. You're probably not comfortable in your own skin or something, or you're not willing to maybe confront something because like you should be able to still go out. If you want to go out, you should be able to go out. It shouldn't depend on having these 5 other people here, for example. You should still be able to join on your one. That's like, I don't know how to say it. It's probably going to sound like a dickhead either way, but
I'd take it a step further and be like, actually, that's a reflection of your friendship. Like if you have someone who says, look, who else is coming?
Yeah.
Like, kind of
like,
not be.
It shouldn't be the reason you back out though. Like, right? Surely like you're comfortable enough there, I go, but and it's a positive that more people are coming, like that you like getting along with. It shouldn't be that, oh no, I can't come along now just because we're missing the trifecta or the combination of X, Y, Z. Like I feel like you should still be comfortable in your skill, and like it's more of a benefit. Like you shouldn't require it because then at every point in your life, like every social, you're not gonna have the same combination. Like someone's not gonna be able to make it. So is everyone else gonna back out for that same reason? You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's flawed logic. It's like, I guess, the thing about purpose in life that you can say that, oh, you want to live with your friends and everything, like you want to be around them, etc. But then by that logic, you shouldn't say that, oh, I won't go out with this set of friends just because X, Y, Z isn't turning up, for example, or I won't turn up, etc. till they're here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's like a flawed way of seeing it. And it's kind of like backwards thinking. So like the thing you did in isolation, like I actually rate that you did that, yeah, because when I went Warwick, I was thinking it's a full reset anyways. And because I knew that basically no one at work, so I was like, that's a full reset of my life, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I was thinking like, in terms of that, like, for me, it was isolation. I didn't want my family to meet me because obviously it was the inconvenience to travel up anyways. And they only came up for graduation. They had never seen where I lived or anything, accommodation or so. They only had seen literally both times I graduated, what uni was like. But yeah, like, you shouldn't require others, for example, to have to go to social situation, have to go to this place. You should still be able to do it to yourself, and them coming, it should be a positive. Like, and if you can't do that, yeah, to every single one of my friends listening, you need to sort your lives out.
Do you accept that though some people can be uncomfortable around other people?
I know you can be, yeah, but that shouldn't stop you. Like, why are you?
I'm not saying it should stop you, but
yeah,
I'm saying, would it then be unfair to that person to be like, no, you should definitely come out, or if they'd just rather than
not definitely, but like they should definitely try to get rid of that discomfort, like what is causing that discomfort, for example. Let's make a hypothetical up. You're good at these.
Okay, say you've had a long-term relationship with some girl, yeah, and she's left you for me, yeah, and now we've all gone out as a group, and we're both
a home wrecker.
We're both there. We're all going banana tree, and me and your ex are there. And now
what kind of bullshit?
You're asked.
First of all, I know you wouldn't go out.
I'm giving you a hypothetical, mate. And you're asked.
Give a realistic hypothetical.
That's very realistic. And now you're asked. Yash gives you that message. Oh, do you want to come banana tree? Yeah. Now maybe you might be thinking, oh, maybe he's invited Aaron and my ex.
I'm making it real hypothetical. Aaron.
So you would be uncomfortable in that situation. Maybe you would just rather stay at home. And I don't think that's deep. I don't think that's deep.
I don't think you understand.
But like, okay, you might come there and try and like stab me. I don't know. But like another person might just be like, okay, I don't need to deal with that shit. I'll just stay at home. I'd rather do that. I'd rather go watch Netflix.
No, there's times where I definitely like, I don't need to respond to this. Yeah, like there's definitely like situations where like I don't need to respond to this, but I'm not going to let, for example, this person stop me from doing X, Y, Z just because
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
there's
that.
some other issues.
I agree with
like,
that. But I'm
yeah.
also saying like it's also perfectly fine if the person just doesn't want to
yeah,
turn up.
it's
as
fine
well.
to an extent, but like it shouldn't stop you. Like, you should be able to at least deal with it to an extent. Like, I would feel like, and I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, I don't require it, etc." But then I see the same shit from the same people. As I said, this is the one time I'm finding indirect here, but like I see the same shit from the same people where they're gonna require, oh, who else is coming or who else will be there, like who else has joined, etc. Like it shouldn't need to be like this, and that's obviously my thought process, which obviously is shaped by at least the people I grew up around. So as I said, Christian belief, that shit doesn't run with us. Like if when Among Us started popping up and if one of us said that and it was taken the wrong way, like for example, I did say that once, and it was taken the wrong way.
Can you just ask it to like you just want to know? Do you know what I mean? It's not like to say yes or no.
No.
Just...
I said like as long as there's like 9 or 10 people, just let me know and I'll stop doing my work and I'll come on here because I wanted to play like a full Among Us lobby, but it was taken. I obviously see how the message was taken, but obviously we clarify that that's not what I meant because I was just literally working and I was like, yeah. So if I'm going to push back my work and delay myself, basically lose a lot more of the Sunday evening free time, then I need to make sure that I'm going to have definitely a bunch of fun here that is worth that mental break, if that makes sense. So like, it wasn't that like I didn't want to come. Like I said, I'll come whoever the people are there, I'll come. But at that particular time, because I was so far behind in work, I was like, yeah, I need 9 to, like, for example, for me to be the 9th or the 10th person in this lobby, just so I can have that proper mental break. And it wasn't like anything I needed X, Y, Z to be there. I was just like, I just need this number of people just so I know that I can have the mental break here instead of like a Sunday evening, for example. Because everything would get pushed back, if I took that break then, which to an extent, like maybe I should have pushed it. Maybe should have just fucked over like my entire like next week as well. But I was also like, it wasn't like anything deep, I wasn't like, no, if this person's coming, I'm not going to attend. Like or until these people aren't here, like, these specific name people aren't here, I'm not going to like turn up on the hall or something like this. I don't feel like that accomplishes anything.
What if you're doing it to not make somebody else uncomfortable? It's not like about you being uncomfortable. You'd be fine if you turned up, but somebody else would be uncomfortable if you turned up.
I'll turn up for the sake of it. And what's like? Why would I give a shit if someone else is uncomfortable because of me?
I'll just be a nice person.
No, because like if they're uncomfortable with me, that means they have some issue with me that they could just literally speak to me and try to resolve it. And if not, then
maybe you've done something. Maybe you've done something bad. Like if I
do I know I've done something bad?
If I went like took your girlfriend, do you know what I mean? And then you were at dinner and I was like, okay, I have kind of fucked up here.
First
and if
all,
I show up,
know you.
Hamish is gonna.
I know you wouldn't do that.
Yeah. This is all hypothetical.
But I wouldn't.
But like, I'd be like, okay, if I turn up now, like Hamish is not gonna have a good time.
Mate, I don't think you understand. Like, I grew up watching 50 Cent.
I'm just using your name because it's funnier, but like, it could be anyone. That scenario must have existed in the world at some point.
And I feel like you shouldn't. Like, I feel like a person shouldn't be afraid of those situations. And if anything, it just needs to be like maybe confronted, to start with in the first place before that event happens or something. And if not, then like you're just making your own life miserable. And there's probably going to be collateral damage, as in like the people around you are probably going to feel the tension or whatever. Like, why put everyone else in that situation because you just won't confront something? Like, surely it's easier if you confront it and put everyone else in a shitty situation in the first place, if you care that much. But if you don't, then like, yeah, fair enough.
On the self-validation stuff, Rish, so like Instagram, we like mentioned at like the beginning, like Instagram is quite a platform that you kind of consider is like associated quite heavily with like self-validation, or really like any social media. But you haven't had it, or at least as far as I'm aware.
No, he doesn't have it anymore.
No, I don't have it anymore.
My man got blocked.
Was that like a conscious thing not to have on, or was it not really that deep? Was it
very, very, very conscious thing? I was one of the early ones on Facebook, and I saw kind of what it did to myself and other people, and I was like, well, Instagram sounds like a worse version. Do I want to do that? And then, I thought I'd never get it, to be honest, because I was like, why would I want to just see the good parts of everyone's lives if everyone's just showing off? But then, COVID comes along, and then I realized that everyone's like, it's a good way to connect. And then I started my job, and then everyone at work was like connecting on Instagram and bantering. And I was like, well, I think I'm actually missing out on stuff here. So finally got it, but not got it because it's taken away from me, sadly.
You mentioned there, like showing off, like watching people show off. Where do you think the line is then between showing off and just kind of I know, celebrating you're happy about something, so you want to share it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think ultimately it's about intention. Like, let's say I'm proud of something. Now, do I need to share that achievement with an audience of 1,000 people? If the reason, if you do, I feel like there's things to unearth within yourself that's driving that decision. And I think part of that might be insecurity. Like, can you be totally confident in your achievement that you don't need adulation for it? Why are you pursuing adulation?
What does that word mean?
Admiration? Like, why are
Admiration.
you pursuing the validation of that achievement? What is it for? Can you not be entirely comfortable with that thing in of itself?
Yeah, so like one of the things I was thinking, I was going to use this as an example. They don't take this literally, obviously, but like I was going to say, like if you say you propose to your girlfriend and she said yeah and everything, and then you post on Insta just to like show off to everyone and see who viewed it, get the congrats and everything. But like I feel like surely, like in my head right now, this is how I think. Yeah, I'm like, if I proposed to her, she said yes, and like the happiest day of our life, whatever. Like what? I don't need to share that on Insta. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't need to see who viewed it. I don't give a fuck. Like if they'll find out about it when they find out about it, when they see like the ring on a finger or so, or like if she tells certain of her friends or whatever. But like, I don't see the point of me needing to share on Insta, for example, because.
But they could just be gas. Like, do you know what I mean? They could just be like, oh, this photo is like, I look really good in it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
look, if there's some business incentive that I can see, like for example, when we share the third wheel stuff to Insta, that's purely business. So like, that doesn't even bother me because obviously we do that for the numbers. Like that is literally a business that requires the numbers to be there so that we can, ideally get some financial gain from it and have more reach. But from other people, I think it's all about the money. But yeah, like you shouldn't need to post it to social media. I mean, that's also one of the reasons why I just didn't have Instagram or something. I'm like,
I get, yeah, I agree 100%. Like you shouldn't need to, like,
yeah,
you should be perfectly fine if you did or didn't post, but
you shouldn't need to post like XYZ to see make sure these people viewed it. Like you could have sent it to them like in an Instagram personal message, like you could have just forwarded that post, for example, or messaged them on WhatsApp, called them up saying, yeah, I thought I'll let you know that, yeah, just proposed. She said, yeah.
What's the difference between that? Just the number of people?
I don't know, like, I feel like if you're going to share it, there's a way for it to be done. Like if Risha was saying, like the way you seek admiration, like in that case, like there's a way maybe it should be done, which is better off than another case, like, because honestly, I feel like a lot of people who post Instagram stories, they're literally just shit, like, to either whether it's to flex or anything. Yeah, it's literally they have some insecurity in them and they're trying to battle it or send an indirect or something, but they're not really sure of it themselves. So like when you say insecurity, like that's a very good way to put it. Like, and that's, I don't know how to really describe it either, but like I agree with what you're saying. Like you shouldn't need to have to really post things like here and there. Like obviously there's certain things that I don't know. I don't have a good example right now, but currently I'm like pretty much. I don't think you ever seen me post an Instagram story, apart from when I'm just joking with Aaron, because it's easier than me sending it to like all the people that I'm friends with on Insta, like that, or following me, for example. It was easier when I went to San Francisco and I beat him at FIFA to put it on the Instagram story than it was to send it to, for example, 100 people. And I wasn't doing that for validation or anything. That was just us bantering around.
But then isn't it like a proposal could be easier to share on Instagram than it is to send to 10 people?
Yeah, maybe even by that logic, yes.
I do think there's a difference though between like connecting with people versus showing off. Like, that thing of, what's the difference? If I send my achievement to my close friends and family, I feel like that's a form of connection and sharing.
Yeah.
Versus if I post it to everyone has like a couple hundred people in their Insta that they just don't speak to. Like, why do they need to know apart from receiving adulation? Like,
I'm gonna start using that word. I hope you know that now. Adulation.
But also, it's like there's this element of, again, why are you posting a thing? Like if you're a comedian or you like making people laugh, I totally get it. Like it's fun to make people laugh with your posts, or if you want to spread your music or your podcast, like it's actually a really interesting and creative contribution. But what about when the post like, I look very good today? I'm just not sure about if that's a good thing for yourself.
What's the thing is like feeling cute, might delete later or something. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just look at it very innocently and just like, this person's just posted it not to show off. They're just posting it. Or it just doesn't affect me. Like if that person's showing off, like, cool, doesn't bother me. Like show off if you want to show off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I always like to think of like look at the best in people, and
But that's not looking
and
at
they just don't.
worst in people. It's like saying to be your best, you don't have to bloody put it on Instagram.
You are. Would you say like you assume flex? You assume they're showing off rather than they're just like you gave the. I'm just using the proposal because you gave the proposal one.
Yeah.
Like if someone posted a picture of like a proposal or something, you'd kind of think, like in the back of your head, you'd be like, okay, why have they posted that?
I mean, not. Yeah, I'll probably think that. The thing is, yeah, me personally, I'll say like I wouldn't post it, just because. Why does it matter if you know that I'm engaged or so on? Do you know what I mean? Like,
what if your fiance posted it? You proposed and you're like,
well, like
and
it
then your
depends on
fiancé
the
does
reason
it.
as well, innit? She could be gassed like,
Would you be like,
Amy
why
proposed to
you
me.
done that?
I'd be like, fair enough, you know, but like, yeah, I don't know. I'd be like, and watch half the fake comments come in as well. Maybe that's a bit negative. That is a bit negative. I won't lie. We shouldn't start 2021 off like this. Yeah, it's more like you shouldn't need that external validation. Maybe if she uses that as a milestone on a private account to leave it there as like a milestone. I understand some people do some things for memories, but I feel like the line between memories and the external validation is so blurred right now that people don't realize a lot of the differences, because everyone goes there looking for numbers. Like, oh, I need a minute. I usually have 100 people that viewed my story. Has this person, that person viewed it? Like, I could have just sent it. Say I proposed to my girl. I'm happy. I'm like, I'll just message like, oh, Christian, yo, I proposed to my girl. She said, yeah, the gas time. We'll come celebrate when I'm back or something, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be that I have to go post on Instagram story. That's just my stance on it, and it could change in the future. But currently,
yeah, I don't know if I would or I wouldn't, but like to judge other people for doing it, I'm like, come on, like to me that's just like a moment to be proud of. Do you know what I mean? Okay, wait, I'll take a different one. Graduation. Yeah, everyone posts their graduation photo on Instagram.
Yeah,
or at least
I won't lie. Mine was a bit to flex. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, mine definitely was. It's like, yeah, you know what? I've got masters in computer science. I'll flex it.
This one here, I posted it to flex as well, but I didn't require the validation from the flex. That makes sense, because like the pictures that we obviously bought and everything, that's gonna go up in your house as a moment. I think it's a milestone in here. But then when I did it on Insta, I knew it was to just trigger other people. I didn't give a fuck at that point. Like I wasn't doing it for likes or anything, but I knew that when people see it, like the people that literally were beefing me from like very early on, I was just like, I hope you fucking see it, because I made it to good uni, graduated, twice. For example, like it's not like it gave me anything extra. It was just to like give them a little kick on the side. I don't need any sort of other external validation on it. Like I'm fine with it. Like I'm not saying I don't need any external validation at all in my life, because I feel like everyone needs. There's a small bit maybe you still need to make sure.
It's nice. Sometimes
because
it's
like
nice. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
To be right and wrong in society, you have to be externally validated. And that based on society's norms, right? So for that, you literally have to be externally validated. It's not like you won't get. Like, we don't say things on the podcast because we're externally validated and we don't want to be cancelled. So like that's another example. Even though it's a business, don't get me wrong, like that's still a bit of external validation. I get that, like, but there's a line where I think Rishav said the insecurity, where you need XYZ to see it on social media. Like it doesn't matter. Like that's just where I stand on it. So like the graduation one, I did it flex, but I still have the separate milestone, and the rest of the pictures never obviously made out. Like I don't have all the ones that, like, obviously we bought going out anywhere else, because they don't need to. Like it doesn't matter for anyone else. Like if you come to my house in the future, you'll see them and you'll be like, oh, that's nice. That's like a nice achievement. I don't know the main purpose of why people would have family pictures on the wall. Like I don't fully know, like, if it's like achievement, if it's just for like family reminiscing, all that stuff. But like, I can see that as being nice in your home, but you don't need to post about this is what stuff XYZ, like, oh, I'm out with these friends today. We're having a lit time at,
Banana tree.
Yeah, okay, banana tree. Like, don't need to know. Yeah, I understand. Obviously, people may post things to try win competitions. Like, for example, I wanted to post a story of banana tree to enter the banana tree competition, and I realized you have to make a post, and I wasn't making a post because that's just not me, for example. But yeah, I feel like there's that line, and you need to know, because that line is so blurred. You need to know for yourself when it's gone too far. I don't know. I think Rishav probably can put it into better words than I can. Like he already said, like the bit about insecurity. I feel like I get that. Like I just can't word it as good as him.
No, I think that was quite clear. I agree. I think ultimately I think it's important to know why you're doing something, and I think that introspection is just going to help you. Otherwise, you kind of paper over the cracks sometime.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like if somebody wants to post something on Instagram or story, wherever, or Facebook, or wherever, I'm like totally fine with it. I think it's more of if it gets to the point where the likes you get on it like determine your happiness almost, then I think that's like becomes a bit of a problem. But to be like bothered by someone posting a photo or a story just because you think you don't need to see it, I think that's a bit weird.
Yeah, I'm not saying like I go around hating on people, who make the posts and everything. I'm not saying that I definitely don't do that. Like, I'm barely on social media for that. I'm just saying, like, if you're doing it for these purposes that I just tried to like describe, then you probably need to get yourself checked, because
What about all these cat accounts?
they're just posting updates about the bloody cat so that the rest of us can know how the cats are doing.
Are they flexing a cat? Why do you need to know about a cat?
No, but like, I just like cats, so I want to know how this cat's doing, and I can't have a cat, so it's nice to know how that cat's doing. So I like following the updates on the cat, for example.
I'm not getting married. Maybe I'd like to know about some guy who's a friend of mine who's getting just got married or getting married.
Yeah, I think for life events, like I get the whole marriage thing. Like when something big happens in your life, it's just an easy way to communicate it to lots of people. I do get it, and people are quite nosy. They love that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are. Yeah. Cool. Moving on a bit, there was one thing you mentioned here that I don't know if there's like a lot to touch on it, but I did want to. It kind of reminded me of something from school. But in the notes, we have the design argument. Is this so I remember in RE one time, we were taught about the watchmaker and analogy. What? Analogy.
Are you okay?
All of a sudden, I can say that word, but I don't know why I couldn't.
That's how I feel the regular.
It's like everything has a designer. Or that's the theory. So like everything must be designed, and therefore the world must be designed by someone like greater. Yeah, is that the same thing as the design argument?
Yeah, so I basically did my final year dissertation on a variation of that argument. So the base one, yeah, there's quite a few. You referred to the teleological one, which is like the whole look at a watch and how it's designed, the universe and biological life is akin to that design. So there must be a designer kind of thing. So I guess my project was to kind of extend that away from just Earth and human life, because I'm very interested in like physics and stars and black holes and stuff. And so there was always this question like, okay, there's a lot of evidence that this universe is fine-tuned. So fine-tuned meaning like engineered for human life. Like if the gravitational law, if the mass of a proton were any different to like 1 part in a million, then humans couldn't exist. So this design argument follows that, okay, there must be a designer who's wanted humans to live and be alive. But then you're confronted with these problems like, okay, but why is there so many planets without humans? Why is there like big balls of gas flowing around the universe that have no regard for us? Why is there black holes? Why all these things exist if it's for humans? So yeah, that was my, I guess, interest in trying to find a reason for it all.
And you don't believe in religion, do you?
Having gone through that dissertation, I now believe in a designer.
Okay.
I don't believe in a god or like a religion, no.
Does that argument, like, I don't know if the argument fails or not, does it fail if it's the other way around? So you said how the world was kind of was designed to like fit around like a human. Is it also valid if you say like the human was made to fit in this world?
That's I guess more of the line I took, which is the universe is designed not for humans. Humans are a wonderful byproduct. So in that sense, yeah, humans are like kind of, they could only exist because they fit the universe, right?
So wouldn't you say, like, I guess in this case here, like the designer is the same thing as a god?
Yeah, that's kind of what that's kind of what we were taught when I was talking about the watchmaker bit.
I guess because I also believe in simulation theory. So like the idea that we're in like some sort of simulation. So giving it like a religious connotation, because God has religious connotations and it's, associated with the 6 days, 7 days of creation and all that stuff. I mean, it's not like I don't believe in some omnipotent being that has control over all things. I just believe in design.
What's this you mentioned simulation there. I'm now thinking of like a game.
I wouldn't say it's like dissimilar. Like I feel there's a very famous paper, and I all my friends know I speak about this all the time. He's called Nick Bostrom. He's a philosopher. I study philosophy, so I like this stuff. And he basically is a very famous paper, kind of giving probability to the idea that we're in a simulation. And the basic idea is very complicated, but the basic idea is like take a game like The Sims, and like or any video game. Imagine a progression of technology, to the point where that becomes a very realistic simulation of Earth and then the universe, that's not impossible. We can definitely conceive of a simulation that good. So if you assume that, and then you assume, you have thousands, millions of computers running those simulations, out of all the simulations, what's the probability that the one we are in is the base reality that started it all off? It's very low.
I don't know if you necessarily believe in a simulation, but the thing I said earlier, the Half Cost podcast with Jamie, the recent one that released, I'm going to link you that. Listen to it. I think there's like 2 or 3 hours worth of content there, but one of the topics they do bring up is something along the lines of this, and you may like listen to Jamie talk about it, because Jamie is like he thinks very, very differently to the normal person, and it's actually quite funny and interesting sometimes to listen to. So I just finished like listening to this morning.
Does a simulation mean like stuff is defined, like our actions are kind of defined already, or is that not?
I believe
not the same thing.
I believe that there's random, like if you think of it as like code, like you can think of the universe like a quantum computer. I feel like randomness is coded in. So there like, for example, quantum laws and all those things. There's proven randomness, and at least as far as you can prove things. So I don't think there is entirely like fatedness, or I don't think.
Can this simulation end then? Like, can it end? Essentially, like, can it just stop?
Like a program kind of has a failure.
Well, I think the current, I'm not a physicist, but from what I've read, the current prediction is that everything in this universe ends. So you lose the mass of stars will dissipate, and then following that, the black holes themselves dissipate, and then you just have a cold, dark nothingness. So I guess that's as close as an end has been conceived, but I don't know about the space itself.
Yeah, it's nice. It's interesting. Like, how did you? So you said you studied philosophy at uni. Is this something you've kind of believed in for a while, or is it kind of at uni and studying it, doing a dissertation on like the design argument? Is that when you started to like believe in it, or?
Yeah, I never believed in it before I studied philosophy, and then I came across, similar to you, these design arguments, and then the one that really stood out to me was the idea of fine tuning for human life, because the evidence is quite overwhelming. Like all these like laws of physics, fine tune in this finite range, just to allow humans to exist. It just seemed incredible. But then I saw all the problems in that as well. So I was like, maybe there's another way to frame the argument. And there's always going to be problems, and
yeah,
you can never prove anything really. But it's very interesting.
I don't think we're in a simulation, I have to say, personally.
How do you know though? How can you be sure that you're not? I would think of, like, I think of myself as a piece of code essentially. I'm like 95% sure everything around me is some sort of like code. So like when the leaf falls down from the tree, I look at that leaf and I'm like, this is simulated code. I'm like a Sims character. So when I die, I don't think the simulation ends. I think that's just a piece of interesting code, whatever you want to call it, just coming to its end.
But then going on like the design argument, who do you think's like, or what do you think's like written this code?
That's the $1 million question, and I wish I had a modicum of a clue, but
that implies there is a god. Dun dun dun. No joking.
And he's fucking good at JavaScript and Python or whatever.
Why he, Aaron?
Or she, yeah, my bad.
Or
my bad. Or they.
It could just be another human race like us. Or maybe we are in base reality and we're going to be the ones to make the simulation for the next humans.
So then technically we don't live in a simulation by that logic then?
Yeah, that's a possibility, but it's not a probability. At least that's why I think.
That's some mad stuff. I don't know what you mean by you said like you overthink a lot.
Yeah,
like that's like overthinking like
to the maximum.
Yeah.
No,
cool. We got one other thing here. We got a debate question here.
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna, allow or maybe forgive Rishav's opinion on we're in a simulation, and we're gonna switch to our debate question, which he's provided actually. So both him and Dill have actually come with their own debate questions. The debate question is: can you forgive all wrongdoing? Now, for the most part, I'd say yeah. Maybe not all. That's where I stand on this. I don't know about where you two stand on this and the reasons behind it.
My initial answer is yes. Like, you can. I'm not saying I will, but I'm saying you can.
Should you?
Okay. Wait. Here's a speculation for you, Aaron. Someone just killed your wife here. Are you going to forgive them? Can you forgive them? More like...
Oh, nah. What did my wife do? Was she a bit of a dickhead?
What do you mean? Like she deserved to get killed? Like,
No, not
was she
deserve to get killed,
trotting out
but
in the
like,
streets?
if it's in self-defense, I think you can kind of like, if you're about to get killed and you end up killing the person that
That's fair. No,
was
that's
about to
fair
kill
enough.
you,
But
I feel like that's a bit.
like she just
Of a
got killed.
sticky
Like
one.
say whether it's a random act of
Yeah,
violence or serial killer.
yeah. I'd take back what I
Say
said.
like Jack the
No,
Ripper got you
don't
go.
think- That'd go down in history. You know, that would be quite historical. But no, that's. I don't think. Yeah, I'll probably take it back. I don't know if I can forgive that.
Like certain things you can't forgive because you'd consider it too much of a violation to you. And if you forgive them, like first of all, you're never going to forget anyways. Ideally, you shouldn't. But then how are you going to react to it?
I mean, what can I do? I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I'm going to go kill that person. Even if I think like would want to, I don't have the facilities for that big.
Yeah, Rishav, what about you?
I think I could forgive a lot of things, and I obviously haven't been pushed to my limits yet. But I kind of take the view as everything that people do, out of everything that someone does that's I think wrong, has come from their circumstance and their life, and it's there's almost like this moral privilege I feel like I have. Like I've been given a really good upbringing in a great environment, and it's easy for me to say that's the wrong thing to do, but then other people come from much more difficult circumstance, and even something as small as your genes can change how you act. Like what I think maybe it was Plato. He one of the Stoic philosophers, perhaps, he said you should treat those who do wrongdoing as a doctor treats ill patients, in that sort of kind of tending to them and helping them overcome that obstacle rather than admonishing them. What do you think?
Yeah, but yeah, that the one Hamish like said was a bit of a tough one. Like that's just, I don't even know if like time, like 30 years pass or something. That's probably still something that you are angry about. Do you know what I mean?
Would you acknowledge that those who commit those acts have done so because of their circumstance and things out of their control?
What if they were drunk driving as well? Like, what kind of scenario does that leave them in?
Obviously, you shouldn't drink drive. Like you shouldn't do that. But like they haven't meant to kill like their wife or something.
Then why would they
You know what I mean?
why would they drive a car while under the influence? And by that logic, you knew if you're going to drink or whatever, or if you're going to consume, you should not be driving, right? So then, like that's not like, oh, everything forced you into it. There's a point where you make that choice, and you can't blame alcohol to that extent, like because that was internal to you.
But you could actually extend that scenario and ask, okay, why was he driving in that scenario?
Okay,
And
say it was just a 21-year-old having fun, and then he chose to drive after, and then he hit someone. Okay, say
you can be immaturity. You can say immaturity.
Yeah, but then like you're giving too many reasons to justify people. I feel like
you can fall into a trap of like abdicating people from their responsibility, I feel.
But when you chose to drink drive, you can't just blame, oh, it's purely alcohol made me drink drive. You can't say that. Like I feel like that's less forgivable
Then what? Somebody
being a serial
going
killer
out to
by
just-
environment. Like they were literally, because if you just chose to drink drive, like you can't blame on the alcohol. Like because you knew if you were gonna get in that car, like there was a bit of you that wanted to drive and you're drunk anyway. Then you're like, oh, I'm gonna get home safe, no consequences. Like it's still acting a part of you. It's not like Aaron's completely gone. Aaron's still there if you're drunk. If Aaron gets drunk, like it's just that you're letting it control this and then blame on the alcohol because you can say, oh, it's intoxicated, messed me up beyond belief, and then let me do that. Like that's just an excuse. That's just like trying to dodge reality, like, and by using that.
But I know, like having been drunk, that you could do stuff that you just don't like think.
Yeah, but why would you also put yourself in a position then as well? Because if you put yourself in a position where you'd be able to drink drive, then you're absolute retard.
But a person that's going to drink like on a night out, they're not thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna drink drive tonight.
Yeah, but then if they chose to drive, then like that's still a stupid choice. Like,
yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you with that.
no, but if you drink,
Like,
yeah,
it's a
but that's my
stupid
point.
choice.
I'm just like that's less forgivable if you put yourself in that scenario.
I don't know. Rish, what are you saying?
I just think there's reasons behind everything. Like, even if someone, it's a horrendous thing to drink drive, but when you've done that, there's all sorts of things that factor in. Like, do you have discipline? Do you have, are you introspective? Have you thought about the consequences of your actions? Like, all those things I feel are a product of things like your childhood, your environment, your parents, your IQ, your genes. So I don't know, I find it hard to pinpoint the point at which you're like, no, I can actually blame you because you had complete free choice.
There's a line where it's like justifiable. There's a line where it's not, and there's a line where bullshit, and you need to stop like covering up with X, Y, Z reasons to a certain point and like accept accountability.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like you can't. There's just that line for me personally. Like obviously, I understand if everyone else thinks different. If everyone thinks everyone should be forgive, yeah, then go ahead. You can go forgive them, and you can go fuck yourself in the process. You're more than welcome to. But like, I don't know. I just feel like.
But can someone say like, I'm not saying that I would forgive everyone. Like when you said they can go fuck themselves, they can forgive everyone and go fuck themselves. Don't you think it would be a lot nicer to live your life without that burden, without like having that grudge against a load of people?
You don't necessarily have to give a grudge, but you don't have to forgive them for that. If someone did that to me, there's no way I know that I'll be able to forgive them. Like I know that if I was in that scenario, God forbid it never happens, but I wouldn't be able to forgive them. And there's just no way. You've chosen that, so there's no bullshit you're going to be able to pull at that point to do that. Like, especially if that person had no involvement in it whatsoever, and you can't like blame anything else. There's a certain extent to where environment obviously affected you. I can understand that, but that doesn't mean I have to forgive you. Like, I can't just say, oh, nah. So every next person that comes out of this place because of the environment is justified to kill one of my family members or something. That's fucked.
Yeah, what if they've shown like remorse? Drink driving, they've maybe like...
Fuck that. Let them get the beat down of their life, man.
They've gone to sessions.
Literally knock some sense into them, man. You can't just let that shit run, man. People have to learn a lesson, and you're saying, oh, put them in jail or let them off with like, like whatever, a settlement. And that's letting them off.
Rehabilitated. What if they've rehabilitated?
Rehabilitation after killing someone, just letting them off, man. No, let them rot in the cell. Let them learn a lesson the proper way. Bro, people are like too soft and just letting people off. This is why we don't have proper like discipline and accountability. Nowadays, like people just get let off for shit for like dumb reasons. Like there's no justification for it.
But isn't the point of like, we're going into like a different like debate now, but like prison, like the whole point, like they're there not to be a danger to society, and there can be a point where you can change and no longer be a danger to society.
As far as I'm aware, prisons don't necessarily change people like for the better anyways. You just throw them in an environment.
Yeah, a lot of them don't, and that's the debate. Like that's a different debate what prison should be for. But yeah, I don't know. I think in the moment I would definitely be more like you, Hamish. Like it's fine me saying it like now, but I think in the moment I definitely would be more like incredibly angry and like wouldn't want to speak to them or wouldn't want to forgive them at all.
I do think like murder, the fact that someone could be pushed to the point of actually taking someone else's life shows to an extent some sort of, I think it's an illness, like that's not normal to kill someone. So in that sense, I feel like, I hope that they're able to overcome those anguishes. Like as much, it's easy to say these things versus put them into practice, but still, yeah.
Look, I said I can understand the circumstances and stuff, and I can accept that certain things may have not been their fault. Like growing up, like however they did, but like that doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking forgive them. Like that, I don't know why you have to let that on. Because if you forgive them, then you're basically saying, "Oh, it's okay to do that again." Whereas they should be able, if they can't actually show that it's never gonna happen again or something like that, or it's gonna, and if they're at least trying to train, like, but then like I swear, like every time I would hear like that from my kid in that scenario, like, "Where's my mom? Where's mom? Whatever. When's mommy coming back?" Like that's madness. That would never allow me to probably forgive the person.
I don't think you I don't think you have to forgive them either. Like I wouldn't judge anyone if they forgave them or didn't forgive them. I feel like if something like that happened, like it's totally like, you do what you want. If you want to forgive them, like good for you. If you don't want to forgive them, fair enough. Like,
but also I think there's a difference between punishment and forgiveness. Like you can still, wish upon someone their punishment and their dues, whilst also I think forgiveness is like more of like an inner feeling or an emotion. Like you can do both at the same time. You can make sure they're locked up and not harming anyone, but also harbor no ill intent towards them.
Interesting.
Since I studied this, and this is all again like it's stuff we got to study in philosophy, I don't really get angry anymore. Like when people do things that used to really get me riled up, and now I'm just like, well, actually I understand why you've done this. These are things that are a result of your entire life. And then there's a great quote as well that was like, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, don't let someone else's misbehavior affect your state of mind. And I feel like that's kind of what anger is. It's like it's you're relinquishing control over yourself almost.
I think maybe like what Rish is also getting at with the forgiveness thing, like what is not forgiving someone? How is that benefiting you?
But like, you don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to dwell on it, but that doesn't mean you have to forget them, if that makes sense. Like, it depends what you see. Like, say I haven't forgiven someone, that doesn't mean you have to think about every single day. Like, for example, oh shit, like, can't ever forgive this person. I wake up thinking about it every single fucking day, for example. That doesn't mean you can't, I guess, kind of move on. Obviously, it may be detrimental to, and it may affect every single thing that's done afterwards now to you. But like, that doesn't mean you can't move on. That just doesn't mean I have to forgive them for such an act, for example.
But even if you're not thinking of it every day, like because you haven't forgiven them, maybe there is like some anger like inside of you, like in the back of your mind. And
I feel like I'm angry often, so like I don't feel like that.
But wouldn't it be like when you just have a freer life if you just remove that anger?
But like, it may not necessarily be affecting you. Like, I mean, it could. Who am I to say it won't? But like, I don't know. Like, you don't have to forgive someone and still feel like that's affecting you. Like, you don't have to feel that anger for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there like, I was going to say, is there like a point? But then we're just going to start comparing like crimes.
Yeah, I think like, anger as an emotion, I'm not sure how much utility it has, because someone can commit an injustice towards you. That doesn't mean you can't defend yourself and, you know, hold your ground and stop them from doing what they're doing. But the actual emotion of anger, I'm not sure, because I do feel like that's one of those emotions that really you're giving up control of yourself. Like, how many of us have done or said something out of anger that we regretted? Quite a lot of us, I'd expect. I know I have, especially when I was a kid. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like having that control is a good thing over it.
Yeah. Well, there's that like thing, like be the bigger man. Do you like agree with that kind of like?
That saying is sexist. No, you can't use that. It's 2021.
Yeah. Be the bigger person. Be the big person.
I mean, I wish I was. I mean, you know, I struggle as well myself to like not hold petty grudges and all these things. I think it's definitely a good thing to aspire to be, is that person who can forgive and, you know, especially be the first person to.
Yeah, I think there is a difference though where you say like petty grudges. Like,
what's a petty grudge?
I
Can you
think
give an example?
when it's petty, like,
you know, someone might have, you know, done something or said something that ultimately did not affect my life, and, you know, very
kind of silly, like
silly
like,
thing, yeah,
kind of silly. But I think the one that Hamish was going on about wasn't really. I don't think you could class it as petty or silly.
No, yeah. No, it's different things.
Any final thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't know if we got to like a conclusion.
We've just been chatting shit. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
We don't need one.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely like interesting to think about. I think everything we've talked about today, from like, it's been quite a deep episode.
Yeah, please don't be concerned when you listen to this. Well, it's just staying our opinions.
Yeah, from soul to.
If you're doing stuff for validation, or you need, you know, certain people to be there and stuff, you need to check your fucking self. Yeah, we can end the episode on that.
That's the views of Hamish and not the third wheel.
I can't wait to get some messages about that now. Like, people are like,
anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up the episode, Rish?
I'm good, bro.
Did you release your podcast yet? I don't think you.
Oh no, yeah. So I guess by the time this comes out, yeah, hopefully we've launched Life. Was it Lost and Profound? I can't remember the name. Lost and Profound podcast. Just there's a bunch of us, me, Dil, Suraj, a couple of friends, just talking about deep stuff, and hopefully it's interesting. I think a lot of the stuff we covered actually is relevant. Like, we did one on death and friendship and stuff. So yeah, should be good.
Awesome. So if you want like an extended some of those debates that we went through, an extended cut, go head over to them.
Snyder cut. Yeah,
so we'll start to wrap it up. So we have some final questions. First one is, one thing you wish to change in the world.
I probably would. I think it'd be great for the world if there were more women leaders. Just having.
I thought that was going to be something else.
Just more women. That would also be great, but. No, I just think, having seen, you know, the whole like COVID fiasco, like, I just feel there's a lot of evidence that shows women are in some ways more competent leaders, or at least displayed that. So yeah, that would be cool. I think that would be beneficial. Not any women though. I think, you know, you still need to be a good leader. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Theresa May.
Yeah.
The second question is, if you had a chance to make a documentary about something, what would you make one about?
I'd be sick to make a documentary about my grandparents. We've spoken a lot about it in my family. They've had a really interesting love story from Kenya and running away from home and eloping and all this stuff. So yeah, I don't know what it would be called, but yeah, definitely that would be really cool to do one day.
Love a good love story. So yeah. Let me know if that happens. Last questions. This is a question we ask every guest, and that has been, what has been your most memorable third wheeling experience?
Okay, I'm not sure if I am allowed. Okay, no, I just say it. Who cares?
Just take out the names, if anything. You can blur the names as well if you want.
It's not that deep. Well, a couple of years ago, I was on holiday with a few friends, and I was rooming with my friend, and he found a girl, and he wanted to do the things, and because we were sharing a bed, he was like, "Do you mind going?" And I was like, "Yeah, calm." And then the lovely lady came over, and they did the things, and then I left my medicine inside the room, and that was problematic because I had at the time really severe dust allergy, and I forgot to take my meds. And when I was knocking, they weren't opening the door, so I was getting bare desperate. So I thought they'd gone to sleep and locked the door. So I climbed out the balcony and I tried to knock on the window, and as I leaned over, the curtains were wide open. And I'll spare you the details, but it wasn't good, and I got massively told off, and yeah, we cleared it up though, so it's all good. That was very, very memorable, very funny day.
Oh man!
Always keep a panel of your tablets or whatever.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
Or in your wallet,
That's jokes.
The next section is call-out/nomination, so you can basically just nominate some people to hopefully be a guest on the third wheel in the future.
Sure.
Unconfirmed dates.
Yeah. One nom for Hyphen, a rapper. Really cool guy. I got to speak with him last year when I was doing some music work. So yeah, hopefully he's able to come on. Really cool guy. And yeah, probably my mate Suraj. He's our third wheel in our podcast. So if you ever get a chance, it would be a good one.
I love that. Have your whole podcast on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll get in touch. And last bit's a shout out. So basically anything you want to plug, floor is yours. So Rish.
Cool. Yeah. Just a plug for our upcoming podcast, Lost and Profound. We're really keen, the three of us who started it, just to promote sort of introspective conversations that are a bit deep, given how confused and lost we are in life. I think it might appeal to a lot of us. So yeah, please do check it out and let us know if you have any feedback.
Hamish, anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna add a bunch of songs to shout out or stuff that's released. First one's gonna be Part of the Game by 50 Cent. What else? There's the Eminem album that was quite good. And yeah, make sure you check out our socials and all of that stuff as always. And make sure you check out Rishav's new Instagram.
If I get there.
Yeah. On their podcast. And yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I don't have much to shout, so I'm gonna shout out Wayne Rooney. So at the time of recording, he retired from football yesterday. Just as a Man United fan, big legend for us. Big reason why I started to like football in the first place. Obviously, there's some stuff off the pitch that I do not condone. But
such as
he cheated on his missus, didn't he?
Raw. Allegedly.
I think it's. I don't even think it's allegedly. Yeah, I think it's pretty confirmed.
Man, that's one way to shout him out. He's putting the negative right alongside with it.
I just have to give that disclaimer. And he handed in 2 transfer requests. But he's also... yeah, I don't know. I forgave him for the transfer request. I actually haven't forgiven him for... Oh, I haven't actually forgiven him for cheating on his wife.
Is the anger justified for that bit, Aaron?
But I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Might drop.
But yeah. And on that note, thanks Rish for coming on.
Yeah, thank you both. It's been good. Really good.
Nice catching up.
Yeah, good to meet you for the first time as well.
Yeah.
Speak. Awesome. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll just speak to you next week.
Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace, risk, never too hard for the peace. I've seen some things, my brothers they losing their peace. I just